What's up, everybody? Welcome to Counterpoint. One of the things that I've seen floating around social media when they're talking about the destruction of a lot of the young black, especially young black boys becoming men, the YNs, as they call them, the troublemakers, the ones walking around like they have no purpose, and a lot of them don't, just guns and and bullying, all the stuff you see on social media and around town. But what I noticed a lot of times, because I seen a couple videos where people were saying, men were saying, it's because of the single mothers. They don't know how to raise these kids, and basically just bashing and berating the single mothers. Let me be clear before this video get going. I was not raised by a single mother. I don't have to try to defend women. I wasn't in that situation. My mom and dad about to celebrate 50 years of marriage. I was raised in a two-parent household. But I like to be objective. I like to be fair. I like to call it the way that I see it. I know the people that I grew up with. I know the people that I ran with. I see the difference. I've had friends that came from two-parent households like myself. I've had friends that came from a single-parent household. When people say it's the single mother's fault because they are doing a piss poor job at raising kids, you can say that because for the most part, there are men who have to take their kids and raise them on their own, and the statistics show that they seem to do a pretty good job. But that the math on that side is going to be very low. For the most part, the woman is going to be left raising the child or the children. So it's easy to look at the woman and say, when you see the children, she is doing a poor job. But let me tell you something, especially about young boys, that I realize, and this is a part that I try to bring into everybody's mind. When you eliminate, not the woman, I'm saying when the man is not in the picture on a consistent basis. I'm not talking about a boyfriend that come over from time to time. I'm not even talking about a real dad that he see every 3 to 4 months. In a young man's life, if he do not have a consistent real man, particularly his father in his life, then his nature is going to ultimately be stronger than the mother. When my father was in the military and I was young, they had to go to what they call, for those of you who understand military, they had to go to the field for a couple of weeks, 2, 3 weeks, sometimes a month. He'd be gone. And the times that he was gone, I knew I could kind of get away with more while he was gone. My mom would catch me, I would get in trouble. She would discipline me sometimes. Sometimes she would say, when your dad get back, he's gonna deal with it. And sure enough, the day he got back, I thought he forgot or didn't know. He'll quickly remind me, you know what time it is, go get the belt, blah, 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 blah. Imagine though the same scenario if my father was gone for 6 months. Imagine the same scenario if my father was gone for a year. Imagine if he never came back. As a young teenage boy, 13, 14, 15 years old, and my mom doing all she can, I would have pretty much ran the show because a woman can only do so much. So my point is, it's not that the single women don't know how to raise children. Some of them don't. Don't get me wrong. Some women shouldn't have kids. Some men shouldn't have kids. But it's when you disrupt nature's way. Nature says that a child should have a mom and a dad. That's nature's way. It took you both, it should take you both. That's nature's way. When you eliminate either one of those, then you're going to see a different outcome. If the script was flipped and the majority of men were the ones who had to raise 2 or 3 children, we would see the difference on another angle in those kids. Because nature is not designed for just one person to do the job that is supposed to take 2 people and even a village to do. Now, I want to say this, because this is where they also blame the woman. They like to blame the woman because they are the one responsible for having the child. I get that. They're the ones that open their legs. I get that. Well, here's the deal. You only have a couple of choices. Either you want the woman to have the child, or you want the woman to get rid of the child before she gives birth. And the reality is, especially in the times that I grew up in, a lot of the men, including myself, did not want to wear protection. We wanted raw. We didn't want nothing between us and them walls. So we convinced the woman, or maybe she didn't need convincing because she didn't. And so a lot of men were blowing in these women that we knew we did not want to have a child with. And that's where this disruption come from. Everybody are like, oh, the baby daddy or the husband is in jail or prison, the system, the government ripping our families apart. Yeah, that is true. But for the most part, men were blowing in women. Women was allowing it to happen. Neither one of them wanted a child. Then she gets pregnant. And then she has to make the decision, do I keep it or do I get rid of it? Because if you're not married or in a real relationship, more than likely the man did not want to be responsible. And so she ended up doing the best or the worst, whichever way you want to look at it, trying to raise children when it was supposed to take 2 people, and she got to go through a hassle to get a man to give $200 a month. But we don't look at that. Every doctor's appointment, she has to take the child. She has to take off work. Every school practice, basketball, football, track, swim team, whatever, rec ball, she got to do it. Every birthday occasion, she got to throw the party. She got to pay for the supplies. These same situations, these men are nowhere to be found. And when she can only do so much, and we see these YNs in the street creating ruckus, you're not just seeing the results of a sorry mother, you're seeing the results of young boys who had no father figure in their life. And it ain't because they all been locked up. It's because we, and I'm including myself, no intention on really raising children. We simply wanted the booty. And we didn't want to wear no condoms. I'm pregnant. Y'all seen Menace to Society when old boy slept with old girl. Remember he met her in the 5.0 in the Mustang? And she got pregnant, called him and told him. They said it ain't mine. What you telling me for? He said, I had a Jimmy on extra tight. When he calling me, boom, click. That's how we ain't necessarily say that, but that's how men operate. Man, that's Keisha over there, man. She got a fat one on her. I gotta get that. Keisha, let me holler at you. Boo, 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 boo. Weeks later, time to get in the bed. I got a condom, but I don't really want to wear one. Well, we together, ain't we? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know, I got you, you my boo, blah, blah, blah. Boom. I'm pregnant. We ain't together. I ain't really feeling it. Get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of it. It's our baby. How you going to tell me to get rid of it? Well, you won't have it, but I ain't going to take care of it. There you go. There you go. When you see these YNs, you're seeing more of a result of a lack of leadership, structure, and discipline in their life. Because if a man was in the picture, a man would have told him, pull them pants up, put them guns down. If you're going to walk around with a book bag, my son got in and called me a couple of weeks ago. I said, what's in that book bag? He said, my little whatever, headphone, blah, blah, blah. I said, if you're going to wear a book bag, you hanging out with me today, put some books in it or leave it in your car. He had to open the door to his Honda and put it in his car. You're not walking on me with an empty book bag like you strapped up. Put some books in it. And the man would have told him, stop trying to walk around like you Pooh Shiesty. My point is, it takes two people. It took two people to make it. It's going to take two people to raise it. And a woman, either maybe she did the best she could, or maybe she didn't really try at all. Either way, if the influence of a man was on the scene. Now again, I'm not talking about necessarily if you was married and then y'all got divorced. I'm talking about these truly, you were singing the whole time, and now that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those when you was never married, you just had a baby because y'all were freaking each other, and then now the woman was stuck raising the child all by herself, and then this is a result. These young men don't even know who their father is, and if they do know, they know their father don't care about them. That stuff mess with your psyche. You turn your mind to the streets. If your dad don't care about you, you don't care about nobody else, and the cycle continues.